All right, this is day number 5 already, with some variety cards this time. Again, I was expecting a champion today, but it looks like that's not what we're getting. We're just getting more random cards. So here's number 1, Bandle City Bird, 7 mana, 6/6 with impact, Ferocious Fluffs. When I'm summoned, grant other allies that have subtypes +1/+1 and impact. That's pretty good payoff actually for playing subtypes. This is kind of what we've been waiting for. It's not even grant other allies that have different subtype +1/+1. It's just any subtype. Really? I think this is pretty good. It's in Bandle City, so you can do stuff like condensing it. Imagine getting this from a portal from Nora, by the way. Whew. Yeah, this is good in Bandle City because every card in Bandle City is a Yordle, pretty much. Imagine Soul Cleaving this too. That's +3/+3 and 3 impact to your board. Soul Cleave on the fluff is just an OTK. Also, I want to really quickly show the full art already. This was posted by the Runeterra Twitter. It's literally like a big fluffy bird using the Yoshi ground pound from Smash on this poacher here with Nico in a cage. So you know this bird means business. This is a pretty good card as a finisher, but we have also seen like, I think it was the 6 mana 4/5. That's like if you activated a boon this turn, give all your allies +1/+1 an impact. It's give, not grant. This is a grant. Did somebody just say Nicolas Cage? It's Nicolas Cage over here. Okay, a pretty good finisher. This is pretty good in a region like Bandle City, who always has their board full. I like seeing this type of stuff much more over seeing Bandle City go to a region like Demacia just for champion strength. This is much, much cooler. I hope we get more of this type of stuff as finisher. Just a big fluffy bird instead of something like champion strength. It's okay. I find these cards difficult to raid because right now there's not really a deck that this goes into, with Tristana being nerfed. It's also not a dual region card. So what deck would this go into right now? Is there a reason to play this card? Actually, that's really interesting. What if we still have an elite deck and elites isn't really splashing anything? What if elite just starts splashing this as a 3-of? Right? Like elites is always like 6/5 wide. We also got the new 5 mana card that summons 2 units. And you just play this dude? This bird, rather? That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. Cool card. Cool card. I hope it's playable. 2 mana, 0/0 equipment from Bandle City. The Returno Wrench impact. When I'm discarded, equip me to a random unequipped ally. And it's a 0/0 with impact. Oh, this is Mecha Yordle support. Oh, wait. Oh my god. Wait, that's actually sick. I love this card, because when the unit dies, this comes back to your hand and you can discard it again. Yeah, it's infinite discard food, exactly. I love this. I've been asking for good discard stuff for Bandle City for so long. I wonder if they printed this now because Rumble got rotated. They were like, we really want to play this card or print this card to make Mecha Yordles finally playable. Let's rotate Rumble because he'd be broken with it. Okay, for real though, imagine a turn 5, turn 4. You want to play Rumble? You have the Mecha Yordle Landmark. You have 2 of these. Actually, 2 of these doesn't really make sense if Rumble is your only one on the board. Cool card. Super cool card. This makes Mecha Yordles a lot more consistent. I would always play Mecha Yordles, and I would be very careful with what Mecha Yordle generators I would play, because discarding can get so awkward. Like at one stage in the game, you're going to be discarding like very relevant stuff because you're not sure. Do I want a Mecha Yordle now? Do I want to try to get like an impactful Mecha Yordle that can actually do something for me this game? Or am I keeping this tool because I don't know if I'm going to low roll, right? So now you don't really run into this anymore. You play your 3 mana Mecha Yordle Creator, your 4 mana Mecha Yordle Creator, you discard the Returno Wrench, the Returno Wrench goes onto the 3/2 or the 4/3, and then you get your Mecha Yordle, the 3/2 eventually dies because it blocks, and then you play your Mecha Yordle, you play another generator, and you discard again, it goes into a new card, and it's sick, and you keep using it. This makes it much more consistent to make Mecha Yordle. I really like this card. Is this enough to make Mecha Yordles playable? Honestly, it's close. I think it's really close. This is super good for that. Really, really, really interesting card. Isn't there an Ionia Landmark that buffs equipment? Oh, you want to play this with like Forge stuff too? You could do that. You could play this with Forge. +0/+0 suck. It doesn't matter. You're not using this for the stats. You're using this because you get a free discard and impact. That's all you're using it for. This is like for Mecha Yordles, that is exactly what you want. You just want something that can keep discarding and doesn't cost you anything. But I think it's really interesting if you're playing this with Freljord and you're actually forging this, and then you use like, I want to say a Draven Axe, but he's rotated. You use like Scrap Heap, the 1-mana burst speed discard that gives you a Mecha Yordle. You use it on this, and then suddenly one of your units just gets like +4/+4 because you've been forging it. This is the Lost Soul for battle, but it's better than Lost Soul if you're just looking for value. Lost Soul is good because you get a 4/3 Fearsome, right? That used to be a 4/3 Challenger, and that was meaningful. If you're playing like a little more aggressive, if you care about units. But with Mecha Yordles, you are always creating better than average units anyway, and this lets you do that consistently without losing a lot of good cards from your hand. Super good. Love this card. And then we have a 4-mana Yordle from Battle City. 3/4, Portal Scholar. When I'm summoned, plant a mysterious portal in the top 4 cards of your deck. Okay? When you summon a created ally, granted impact. Okay. So, here we go, chat. Here we go. I have one thing to say about this. I am sick and tired of Nora being played with control decks as a disposable mechanic just so they get infinite blockers. Absolutely miserable. Nora should have never happened if they knew that control decks were going to abuse the hell out of it. Hate it. Dislike it so much. This card is not that. This card is not that. This card actually cares about you getting your units and doing something cool with it. Attacking, being creative. This card, as a 4-mana 3/4, I think control decks still like that, but this is going into the direction where you're actually playing Nora and you want to play a Nora portal deck. You're not playing a control deck that uses portals. You're playing a real Nora deck. That is what this is for. This is payoff for those type of decks. This is love for the people that play actual respectable Nora decks. Okay? I know how everybody feels about those Nora decks. Oh, Nora is this unit with cringe random units that are sometimes terrible and sometimes insanely good. No, that's not the case. Nora units are always at least above average, unless you get an ephemeral, but that doesn't happen super often, right? So, this card makes those units that you create a little bit better if you're not just using them as blockers, because, you know, the impact keyword. This can get out of hand really fast. This can get out of hand insanely fast. Yeah, the one deck that I'm a little bit worried about is Heimerdinger Nora, because that was a control deck, and this also synergizes with a lot of stuff that the Heimer Nora decks do with Shadow Owls. Really funny with, like, Husks. It would be funny with Valfies because you get a 1/1 with impact. But Husk is pretty interesting, actually. Like, if you're using a Hate Spike, you create a Husk, and then the Husk gets impact. And then you play an Owlcat on that Husk, and then you have, like, a 3 impact Owl. That's like almost those Bandle Gunners or whatever, the 5/5 spell shield. I think this is strong, but I don't think it's going to be, like, super strong for control. Like, it's better in those other Nora decks. I still think that control decks do want this card, though. Just because they get a 4-mana 3/4, they'll create a blocker later. And then this last part of the text is like, whatever, we don't care about this. But, you know, the Giga Chat Nora decks that like portals, they do like this text a lot. And yeah, I hope to see more of that. This is the right direction to push Nora in. Love it. Very cool card. By the way, if you're playing Bard Nora now, you're going to play this as a 4-drop, you're going to play Bard as a 4-drop, you're maybe going to play Banana Blaster as a 4-drop. What are we supposed to do here, man? Well, so many 4-drops in a deck that already ramps up pretty slowly. Next card. Targon, 3-mana 2/2, Star-Crossed Lovers. Play Recall an ally and granted my stats. Are these two the ones from the cinematic? It is, right? That's so cool. Yeah, Star-Crossed Lovers, it has to be, right? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's from the cinematic. How long ago was that? That was when Targon released. That was literally like the very first expansion trailer that Targon got. Wow, that's so sick. Okay, let's before I talk about this card. Arrow. Oh my god. Yeah, it's at the end when they both like walk towards the moon or whatever, and Diana and Leona are looking at them. Recall an ally and granted my stats. Why? Is that the first recall in Targon? I think it is. It's so weird. I was kind of hoping this card would be a little bit better with how cool the thematic is and all. It's like recall and ally. It's like one of these is saving the other, pushing them out of the way, and that's a recall. It's pretty interesting if you're playing like the gem crafter, the generous gem crafter, that every time you cast a spell, you give +1/+1 to a random unit in hand. I think it's a pretty cool and interesting card. It just doesn't seem very good. Yeah, I would love to use this on Revna, but I mean, Jesus Christ, you want me to play a 6-mana 2/2 and then recall it to play it again? That's 15 mana for what? For +6/+6 to your deck. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much win the game at that point, but yeah. There's probably better ways to use Revna. What did we get to it? Yeah, you keep recalling them. Actually, does that even work? I don't think that works even. Because, like, if you're recalling a buffed ally, you're resetting its stats because you're recalling it, and then you're giving this. Man, it seems so bad, man. Like, Targon already struggles with getting tempo in the early game, and then for 3 mana, you want to recall something? Demacia 4-cost bird. Yeah, but you still have to recall it, though. It's like, oh, cool. I want to give something +2/+2. Love that. But then, yeah, you have to recall it. You have to play it first and then recall it. Timelines. Why is this good for timelines? Doesn't seem very good. It's like, yeah, okay, with timelines, you transform this into like something that has 3 mana worth of stats, and then you probably give more than +2/+2. It's unit speed, so you can't even use it in combat. Recall your Zoe, yeah, but like, why? 100% Bard kill support, and that's all it is. Okay, so using this on Esmus is okay. If you use this on Esmus, Esmus becomes a 2/4, gets you another chime. That's like fine. On the 3 mana 2/4, dude, that like, you want to play a 3 mana 2/4, you want to recall it for 3 mana, and then pay 3 more mana for a 4/6? So you pay 9 mana to get a 2/2 and a 4/6. Not that good. It's good as a heal, yeah. If you recall something that needs to be healed, that's fine. Is there any good summon effects in Targon? Like, you have stuff that invokes, right? Like the Moondreamer. You recall Moondreamer, you recall Solari Priestess to get some more value. I could see it for that. But then it's like, whatever for the stats, right? Then it's just like, I'm playing recall in Targon. I could see Esmus, yeah. You play Esmus on 2, the chime lands here, and then your Esmus is big. I think it's fine. I think it's good. It's probably like a 1 or 2 star card either way. Nah, not impressed. Next. A 12 mana slow spell from Targon. That's gotta be big. Age of Dragons. For the top 9 cards in your deck, draw each dragon and reduce their cost to 0 this round. Then shuffle the rest into your deck. What? What the hell? Is this literally Field of Rush for Targon? Okay, hold on. All this ramping that we were doing with Targon suddenly makes sense. And then the new Ionia card can deny this for 1 mana. Oh no. I mean, this card is sick. If you hit 1 dragon from this, that's like either a 9 or 10 mana dragon, you're already winning the game. Okay, let's see. You play this, you get an Azul, you get a Shyvana, you get a Eclipse Dragon. Even if I get Azul and Shyvana from this card on turn 9, I feel like I'm already winning. This is really funny support for dragons, dude. What the hell? Mirai Greatmother nerf? Oh, yeah, this is a pretty dead card for Mirai Greatmother. Bro, if this gets denied... I mean, it's the same as when Field of Rush gets denied, right? You just don't play this. Okay, one thing that we need to talk about with this card that I just realized saying that, if your Field of Rush gets denied, you like don't really have a win con. But the point with Field of Rush was just literally like not doing anything, just removal and ramp until you play Field Rush to win the game. Age of Dragons supposedly goes into a dragon deck, and dragon decks play very mid-rangey. Like, you have to imagine, if you're playing against a mid-range Ionia deck as Field Rush, and your board is clear because they keep challenging with like Shen Fiora, you play Field Rush, they deny it, you have no blockers, you got nothing. You can play this card in dragons while you're already ahead on board. That is something that dragons are good at. They are good in combat. Very often, the dragon deck will just be bigger than you. And then at that point, you can talk about, yeah, is this then a win more card? I don't know about that. But the fact of the matter is that if you run 1 or 2 in these deck, and it does somehow get denied, or you low roll with this, you don't necessarily like insta-lose because dragons are very good at playing for board. Like you will very likely still have stuff on the board that's going on. And then you play this card, it's like, okay, the game is over now. Or they deny it, or you don't get any good units, and it's like, okay, I guess I still have a board, I can still do stuff, I can still win this game. With Field Rush, that feels like it's less often the case. It's an insane top deck too, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. So I'm talking about the scenario where dragons are sometimes just ahead on board because they're very good at that. But we can also talk about the scenario where it's like it's an even game. You're removing your opponent's stuff, they're removing your stuff, you're both running out of steam, and then the dragon player top decks this, and then they win the game. That's insane, dude. This is a lot better than Field Rush because of the way dragon decks are being played. Sky Singer cut cost in half. All right, we gotta play some Sky Singer dragon decks then. Dude, you can also play Sky's Descent in that deck. Oh my god, is that gonna be our day one deck? Ionia Dragons? It's actually pretty funny. It sounds cool. You have the new spell from Ionia that draws 2 spells, right? You play the Sky Singer, you play Age of Dragons, you play Sky's Ascent, you play Rejuvenating Breeze, I believe the name is, and you draw those 2 cards for both like 6 mana. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. All right, okay, you know, I can forgive Ionia for their sins if that's a deck I can play. If you want top it, you would play Eclipse into Aesol. Don't ruin my dreams, Chrono Mirage. This is much cooler than Eclipse into Erling Soul. Eclipse into Erling Soul has been in the game for 3 years. I want the Age of Dragons. Sweet card, man. Yeah, if we get a competitive dragon deck, they might play this as like a 1 or 2 off, to be honest. Yeah, not sure. All right, next card. 3 mana landmark from Piltover. Sump Monument. If your Nexus would take non-poison Puffcap damage, your opponent plants 4 poison Puffcaps in your deck for each damage instead. Your opponent plants 4 poison Puffcaps in your deck for... So when they damage your Nexus, you plant... Why is this worded so weirdly? So whenever they damage your Nexus, you plant 4 shrooms into their deck? That's insane. Isn't this crazy? Into your deck? If your Nexus would take non-poison Puffcap damage, your opponent plants 4 poison Puffcaps in your deck for each damage instead. Non-poison Puffcap damage? Oh, wait. Wait. So your Nexus is basically immune? But so if my opponent deals 1 to my Nexus, I don't take any damage, but instead 4 poison Puffcaps go into my deck? What the hell? Does this count as you're planting Puffcaps? Does Teemo level from this if you're planting Puffcaps into your own deck? This is such a weird card, dude. You need to play this with like Starlight Epiphany or Azir's level 3 deck. Dude, this card is wild. Yeah, oh, your opponent plants, right. So it doesn't count for your Teemo. Okay, fine. Yeah. I wonder if you play this with something like, right, like this is a control card, right? This is definitely not a card you play in Caitlyn Teemo because they play cards like Insider Knowledge. Insider Knowledge draws 2 cards for both players. You're killing yourself if you do this. This is like a card for control decks. What the hell? It's for slow PNZ decks. Yeah, Lissandra PNZ. You're playing the Seraphine card, the Zon Diva, or what is her name? Yeah, you're playing like this card to level your Lissandra. This card is wild, man. So you don't take 1 damage now, and instead you potentially take 4 damage later. Control decks do go pretty deep into their deck pretty often, though. Yeah, I play this with Eldred. Does Demacia want to play a 3-mana landmark when they're already good at blocking, though? I don't know, this is hard to say, because regions like Freljord and Demacia already have good units. They're good at blocking. So it's like, why do you need this if your units are probably going to win combat anyway? For each damage, yeah, if you take 5 damage, you're putting 20 Puffcaps into your own deck. Ezreal counter? I mean, you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. Say what you want, but if you play this before like the Ezreal pop-off turn, they potentially do 0 damage that turn, and then you could beat them. Aggro counter? Yeah. I think this might be the aggro counter. Yeah, why? Imagine having 2 of these on the board. Wait, if you have 2 of these on the board, you're inting yourself. You're putting 8 shrooms instead of 4. Dude. Oh man, I want to have like, dude, Talia Sump Monument. Who's with me? Talia Sump Monument. Copy this bad boy. Oh, that's hilarious. This is such a cool card to put into the game, but what the hell, man? What am I supposed to think about this? It's so weird. Deep? What? I mean, Deep has been played with PNZ before. It's never been good, though. I don't know. I don't think so. Like, actually, this is terrible with Deep because your deck is like almost empty. And then we have 15 cards left. They just start dealing damage at that point, and then you die instantly. Starlight Epiphany is rotated. The only thing that replaces your deck right now, I believe, is Azir level 3. This is where you win by losing match with Legend. Yeah, perfect. It's perfect for that. You can because Monoshima. I mean, you can still play the Sun Disc if you're a Giga Chad. But yeah, you're right. I think it's a okay card. I just, man, I guess I'm not mad enough. I don't have the balls, dude. I don't think I'm mad enough to play this in my control deck because you're delaying 1 damage to maybe take 4 damage later. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. God, this is such a hard card to evaluate because I don't play these type of cards. Like, what does somebody like Majin or Alan think about this? Because they play decks that want to survive a very long time. Yeah, high risk, high reward. Yeah, you want to not draw, and control decks usually do want to draw. A lot of manifest like Radiant Conch, but you're not putting anything in your deck. Could be used in Karma Set. I could kind of see that. Like, you put one of these in Karma Set, and then when you're playing against aggro, you play it. Because against aggro, you just need to stay alive in like the early turns, and then you probably like lock them out of the game before turn 7 or something. Such a hard card to evaluate. I feel like this is also the kind of card where like eventually you would want to get rid of it, right? We had cards like the Desert Naturalist and Rite of Arcane and stuff like that, where it would be like, yeah, this has gotten its value. I'm past that point of aggression. I'm not going to take a lot of damage at once anymore. Maybe now I want to blow it up for some value. But that doesn't really exist anymore. Yeah, Aftershock your own landmark? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Super interesting card. I am going to be experimenting with it because it's just so freaking funny, but what a weird card. I love that they're creating stuff like that because it's so unique and out there. We don't get cards like that in Runeterra that often. Usually they play it pretty safe, right, with their stuff, but this is wild. This is a Hearthstone design card, and I love it. So cool. All right, next card. 1 mana slow from Piltover. Epic Scraptraption. To play, spend all your mana, summon a runaway Scraptrap, and grow its stats to that amount. Is it like Thermo Beam for a unit? Oh yeah, literally. And it has Brash. Brash and Piltover? What the hell is this, by the way? Oh, this art is awesome, actually. It is a tech. Yeah, it is a tech. So with the Adaptatron, that could be pretty decent. You're giving your Adaptatron Brash. You maybe give this like a Lucy. I mean, it's Brash. It's not like... I think this is good for Heimer Jays. This is probably better for Heimer Jays than the Forge Workers. The Assembly Line, I believe it's called. I would play this as a 2 of in Heimer decks, yeah. Seems good. Like, on turn 3, you just play a 6/6 with Brash. Yeah, that's good, honestly. Yeah. A 6/6 Brash on turn 3. Yeah, good card. Good card. The keyword kind of sucks. I don't think it's a great keyword. Like, if this had Overwhelm or Elusive or Spell Shield or something. I mean, Elusive, I guess, because it's Piltover, but that would be turbo busted. Yeah, this is the only way they could do it, right? I think this is a good card. Heimer here. It'd be funny if this was Jace right here, but I don't think it is. Cool card, honestly. Cool card. It's yeah, it's exactly the type of cards that are pretty interesting. Like they open up deck building a little bit with like the Adaptatron and the Jace and Heimer that you potentially have on the board. Like, I don't think you mind playing this for like a Jace double up, right? Cool card. You can either use this for like a little bit of value on turn 3 where you get a 6/6, or you play it like later on and you give it a meaningful keyword, or you double it up. I like that kind of card, right? You need to actually think about how you use it. There are like scenarios where it's good, and there are scenarios where it's great, and I love those type of cards. But it is probably only playable in Heimer Jace, for sure. It's probably the best offensive keyword they could have given it without it being OP. Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Yeah, because no, you're right. Because this will be a 6/6, right? If it was fear, I think it's better than fearsome in this scenario. Yeah. Yeah, this is Brash is actually really good here because if you're playing against this, you're like, I would love to block this with my 3/1 or my 4/1, but you can't. You have to block this with something that is high health, and at turn 3, you probably don't have that. Like if you have a high health unit, it probably doesn't have a lot of attack. So you can block this very effectively. Yeah, this is a great card, honestly. This is a very good card. Super good. Heimer Jace mains eating well. Let's give some quick ratings to these cards. I want this card to be good, but I don't think Battle City will ever play it. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. My first thought was 3 out of 5, but I still just don't think there is a Battle City deck that's good enough where they're like, I'm always going to be 5 wide. That lets me play the Ferocious Fluffs. I think it's a 2/5. I would like it to be a 3/5, but that's me being optimistic. I'm giving this 2/5 for now. This card, if Mecha Yordles are going to be good, and I think with this card there is a chance, it's going to just come back with a bang. This card is better than it looks. I really do believe that this could be the return of Mecha Yordles. I played Mecha Yordles before with Rumble Rotated, and it honestly, it didn't feel that bad. It felt playable. I'm giving this a 3.5, 3.5. 3.5 for me. Portal Scholar. This is a 4-star card. I think this card's nuts. I think this could potentially just be the return of Nora playing for actual Portal decks. And control decks will probably pick this one up because control decks just are not unhappy with a 4-mana 3/4 plus that portal in the top of their deck. This last part of text, they're going to ignore entirely, but everything else, they're going to be very happy with. So 4-star card. Yeah, this is going to be played a lot. Yeah, it hurts my soul because I love that we're getting a cameo from these two, but this is a 1-star card. No, I don't see this card at all. I want it to be good. Looks awesome. I'm still going to play it, but is it going to make my deck more powerful? Nah, it's going to make my deck worse. I'm destroying my tempo for like a potential upside. I don't think so, dude. 1 out of 5 for this one, sadly. The Lovebirds. Age of Dragons. Whew. Man, I feel like this might be the same story as the bird, where I want to give it a 3 out of 5, but it might just be worse than that. But then again, this could be a real win con for dragons to actually come back. Shyvana is still in standard. Aurelion Sol is still in standard. Single combat is still in standard. Dragon Chow, however, is gone. And that's a big loss for dragons. And that makes them pretty hard to play. But if one card is going to bring them back, it could be a bomb like this, where they're either winning really hard and then they close out the game with this, or they're behind and they play this card and suddenly they're winning. You have to realize, though, that if you play this card, you take an action to play this slow card, and then you need to start playing your units. So, because this probably costs all your mana, you need 2 actions before you get your first unit on the board, and that is awkward. And also, yeah, Ionia just got their first card revealed, which was the All-Seeing Oracle. 1 mana deny for a card they choose. If that hits Age of Dragons, you're going to throw your PC out of the window. Just like when the 3 mana recall got printed. Full hand bricks this card. Trust me, that's the least of your worries. If you even get 2 dragons from this and they cost 0, you're pretty happy, dude. Don't even worry about it. You're drawing them and they're 0. Oh. How am I supposed to rate? Okay, I don't play these type of decks. I'm giving it a 3. I'm putting it right in the middle because if somebody can figure it out, is Alan or Majin. Not me though, not me. I would be surprised to not see this anywhere because it is a very good stalling tool where it's just like, yeah, I'll take the damage later. I just want to survive right now, and that's exactly what it'll be good for. But then again, on the other hand, maybe control decks just don't even do that. Maybe they just take the damage later, and then it's so much damage that they lose anyway, right? And cards like Starlight Epiphany are rotated, so I'm giving it a 3. Actually, I'll do what I did with the Den, with the Swindler's Den, the 6-mana landmark for Bilgewater. I'm giving this a 2.5. I'll give it 2.5 stars because I think it's more likely to be worse than it is to be good. But it could be right in the middle. It could either be insane or bad. And that's a really lame way to rate cards in general, because I'm playing it pretty safe here, but I just don't know with these cards, man. I don't play combo decks. I don't play heavy control decks. It's hard for me to really see how this is used. I'll give it 2.5 for now, but I'll try to avoid rating cards like that because I just don't know the answer. But then again, let's be honest, Chad. If you're rating cards as a content creator, if you give a card anything that isn't like a 1 or a 5, you're playing it safe anyway. Anytime you see a content creator rate a card 3 stars, they're being lazy because they don't know the answer. Remember that, okay? It's the lazy answer. Anyway, this card is 3 stars. Make sure to like the video. Let me know in the comments what you like. Okay, for real, this is a 5-star card. I love this card. This card is 5 stars. This is going to see play in every Heimer Jace deck, and it's going to be insane in those decks. It's not going to be good anywhere else, though. 5-star card, Heimer Jace comeback. Let me know in the comments what card you like. What are you excited for? I'm pretty sad we didn't get a champion today, but maybe tomorrow. We still got 2 champions left until the release. So take care. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.